All right, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to the Steve Malzberg Show. And joining us now, the one, the only Republican political consultant, 30-year political advisor, and confidant to Donald Trump, who, by the way, now, in case you haven't heard, is the president-elect. Not Roger, he's not, but it's Roger Stone. He joins us, also the author of the book, The Clintons' War on Women. And, of course, you could check out Roger's radio show, which will be on Saturday. Check your local listings. Here in New York, it's AM 970 The Answer. And how could people find out where to check it out, Roger?
You can go to the Genesis Communications Network website, or you can go to stonegoldcoldtruth.com, and you can get the details. It's on Saturdays from 1 to 3 Eastern. We talk mostly politics, history, breaking news, and then every once in a while I discuss how to put together my mother's marinara sauce.
I love it. But you know, what people don't know is while you're on radio, you are wearing that hat and those sunglasses.
Well, I'm in the backyard here. I was getting some rays. One of my minions came in and said, Steve Malzberg would like you to be on Newsmax. I said, God, I love Steve. Of course. Let me get out of this bathing suit. You
read it just like I wrote it, Roger. All right, so listen. You know, I'm still watching the media, and I'm still listening to the left wing and to these politicians on the left as guests on these shows, and they're continuing to alienate the people that they lost in the election by calling people who voted for Trump all kinds of names, by saying Donald Trump is all kinds of names. Steve Bannon is the villain of the world. Talk about how Trump won, and in my view, tell me if I'm right, they're continuing to alienate the people that made it possible for Trump to win.
I think what happened here, Javier, is that the left promulgated the lie that Donald Trump was a bigot or an anti-Semite or, God knows, a white supremacist. When these indigenous KKK groups would endorse Trump, by the way, if you ever went to a KKK meeting, more people there are government informants than are members.
I can honestly say, Roger, I've never gone to a KKK meeting, but go ahead.
Everything is financed by our U.S. intelligence. It's a joke. But when some nut group endorses Trump, that doesn't mean Trump endorses them. So this whole narrative, now Trump has the opportunity to prove that he is actually the candidate who will rebuild the inner cities, that he is the candidate who will improve education levels and income levels and opportunities for African Americans. It's called black capitalism. It's about using tax incentives and other programs to get the economy going in our inner cities and in our minority communities. It's happened before under Nixon. It can be done here. At the same time, Trump wants to increase funding for black colleges and universities, something that the Obama folks did not do. Trump is, I think, now has to prove himself to African Americans, to people of color. I believe that the best social program in the world is a job. I have many African American friends. You know what they want? Piece of the American pie. They don't want to be employees. They want to be employers.
Right.
And they're very entrepreneurial, my friends. So Trump needs to give them a hand because for many years they were disadvantaged in this country.
You remember, it just came to mind while you were talking, education is obviously the most important starting point for all that. Without it, you don't get very far. Remember, one of the first things Obama did was he defunded the D.C. school voucher programs that enabled some of the poorest blacks in Washington, D.C. to go to better schools like his daughters did, and he stopped that. I mean, that just came to me now, all those years ago.
They're hypocrites. They're hypocrites on this issue, but I find it interesting that in his interview with Leslie Stahl at CBS, Trump is very clear that he supports the freedom of a gay marriage. Now, this is a man who congratulated Elton John, who happens to be a friend of his from the Celebrity Club, on his gay marriage publicly at a time when Bill and Hillary are both publicly opposed to gay marriage. This is a man who inserted an ad-lib line in his acceptance speech at the convention, commending the party for reacting well to his call for equal rights for gay people. So we now have 3 affirmations here. Yet last night in Fort Lauderdale, I was handed a flyer from some nut group that said Donald Trump will dissolve dissolve gay marriages. Join the rally, stop Trump. So these are the kind of lies you see from the left.
Right.
These demonstrations, this is agitprop. These are the stooges of George Soros, David Brock, and the same losers who put $500 million into various front groups like Media Matters for America, which we've redubbed Media Schmatters for America. If you want to go there, go to MediaSchmatters.com. You'll see the greatest trove of anti-Hillary research you've ever seen, stuff that will curl your hair. Or whether it is Correct the Record, which ought to be called Distort the Record. These people are licking their wounds, but they are also funding those who would foment violence. The Veritas videos, the WikiLeaks, both confirm that they are financing thugs. They're financing, hoodlums to go into these rallies, wear Bernie Sanders T-shirts as a false flag, and try to foment violence that can then be blamed on Donald Trump. Hillary herself orders some guy to dress as a duck.
Yeah, right. I remember.
To aggravate Trump and hopefully make him lose his cool.
Let me ask you, Roger, about, as I've said to some guests, I'm sitting 15 blocks away, a straight line to where the decisions are being made at Trump Tower that will affect this country and the world for many years to come. Talk about the transition. Again, another media fallacy is it's disorganized and it's way behind. When Barack Obama didn't pick his first cabinet member until week number 3 after the election, we just started week number 2. So how he could be behind, I don't know. But talk about what you know about the transition. What names are you hearing for what positions?
Almost every name you hear is being floated by the person who wants the job. Donald Trump likes to hold his cards very close. He's a superb manager, and he knows his line. He said in the 60 Minutes interview, I believe, that only he knows who's on the final list. You have a transition that is building lists of people who, after some vetting and examination, would appear to be qualified for key jobs. And there are thousands of these jobs. Now, you start with the cabinet at the highest level, and then you fill a sub-cabinet at the next level, and then you look at independent agencies. At the same time, you have to be staffing a White House staff. That staff has to work within the confines of the Bannon-Priebus co-White House staff thing. I think that I'm not sure how this can work. Generally speaking, any political operation must have one person in charge. Bannon is a thinker. He's a fighter. He's a brawler. He's a strategist. He thinks ahead. He understands the alternative media. He understands social media. He understands Donald Trump. And he understands the big picture in terms of Trump's struggle against a two-party duopoly and globalism and a K Street, Wall Street cabal that was not for his candidacy, and now can't figure out how they will fit into a Trump presidency.
Well, let me ask you, Nikki Haley.
It's a enormous task. Now, we know that Rudy Giuliani has expressed desire to be Secretary of State.
Right.
know John Bolton has as well. Bolton, nice fellow, great poker player. I've gotten drunk with him, a terrific guy. A neocon, wrong guy. We know that Senator Corker may be under considerations. Whispers of some kind of corruption investigation in Washington regarding the senator. There we know that Donald Trump evidently, or someone from his camp, reached out to Nikki Haley.
Right, she's there today. She was there today.
But it may be for an entirely different job. Trump never shows all his cards. He's the only one that knows. And in the end, he will make the decision.
All right, so Roger, we got less than 30 seconds, much less. So next week, you think we could expect a slew around Thanksgiving, or before, Thanksgiving?
I think you'll get the big ones out of the way. I think you'll know shortly who the Secretary of State will be, who the Secretary of Commerce will be.
Gotcha.
I think that's likely to be Wilbur Ross.
Well, it's funny you say that, and I'm going to say goodbye to you, but I want you to hear this. Yesterday, I spoke to billionaire Wilbur Ross in studio. That interview is coming up next. Thank you, Roger Stone. I appreciate what a natural segue, and we didn't even know it. Please don't go anywhere, folks. We're coming back.